When he came, the whole New York City was rejuvenated.
Watching his first game felt like a trip.
My boy, my done, Melo is here in my city.
I couldn't think of any superstar that had that much excitement in my lifetime.
I just couldn't believe what I was watching. It was really surreal.
We New York, and we riding with Melo, and that's it.
Forward at 6'8" from Syracuse, number 7, Carmelo Anthony.
Phillips to Stoudemire. Stoudemire from outside. Anthony the rebound. Delfino thought he got pushed. And there's the first bucket in his Knick career.
And just that whole year, he was phenomenal, and he was really ingratiating himself with the fans.
It was hard not to fall in love with him right after. It was like I fell in love with basketball, and then boom, there's this massive name, Carmelo Anthony.
He had a couple of game winners. He had some great scoring performances, and I was just like, man, if they just can get some role players in here.
And during the Boston series, man, Melo went off.
Anthony with a long three. Anthony for three with the quick release. Oh.
In Melo's first postseason with the Knicks, he did practically everything he could out there on the court. But without co-stars Amari Stoudemire and Chauncey Billups for most of the series, New York didn't stand a chance. After cutting ties with Mr. Big Shot in the offseason, the team needed a point guard, and that point guard came in the most unexpected place. The end of the bench.
Remember, today is the day that contracts are guaranteed for players for the rest of the season, and Jeremy Lin told me a week ago, I was just fighting for my job. I didn't even know if I was going to have a roster spot. And now, Mike, he's the toast of New York.
Linsanity was dope. There's no other way to really describe it. For a player like that to go on such a tear is amazing for him. It's amazing, I think, for the fans.
You cannot deny that it was awesome and it was fun.
Okay, well, this is a fluke. Then he did it again, and again. And this is all while Melo was sitting out.
The Sanity to me was pretty much the equivalent of a viral meme or video nowadays. It's funny for 1 second, tomorrow it's gone.
I don't know if that's when the whole not liking Melo thing happened with the media.
You need something to sell paper, so that narrative of Melo being jealous of Jeremy Lin was an easy sell.
People try to make it seem like it's all jealousy of Melo. But Linsanity died after that game when he played Miami.
So bad, so pathetic, so awful. Mario Chalmers had Jeremy Lin under lock and key.
As Linsanity died down, the spotlight returned to Carmelo Anthony, who put on an all-time performance on Easter.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied. Anthony for three. Puts it in! Knicks by one with 8.2 remaining.
With Melo's first full season as a Knickerbocker complete, the 2012-2013 season was one for the ages.
Yeah, I'm talking Melo. Yeah, I'm talking Tyson. That's the gold medal. Amari, he gon' spike it. And we got Thomas. And we got Felton. And we got Jason. Oh, Lord help me. Oh, we finna kill. Oh, we finna do. Oh, you ain't ready for me, dog. No problem, bro.
Pass Novak takes. Prigioni lobbing to Smith for an electrifying finish. Kid for three. Fouled and won a 4-point play.
There was this perfect combination of star power, of veterans, of younger players.
When you think about all those intricate parts, but we had 40-year-old men playing with him. Then you had the young ones. You had the JRs. It was really a weird mix, but it worked.
Do a catch and shoot, and it goes. Oh, he did it! J.R. Smith.
I love the JR and Melo tandems. I felt that JR really put on for New York, though, but JR's strength was his biggest downfall. The strength was being in New York, where he wanted to be at, though, but the downfall was, him being in NYC, period. For a person of JR's character at that age, he wasn't ready to handle both.
And J.R. Smith throws it down.
They played together. They played similar. You know, they had a solid defense. They had a great offense. They kind of lived and died by the three, which was unheard of then, but is the norm now.
Lost it, picked up by Anthony. Has to throw up the three, and he banks it in.
It was a beautifully constructed team, and I firmly believe that they would have went all the way.
I think it was kind of unexpected because you just assumed them to be the same old Knicks.
Their first game, they played Miami and gave those boys 30 in like 2 minutes. I feel like New York was on top.
Anthony feeling it, puts it in, three-pointer, Carmelo Anthony.
I remember Melo was just killing everybody in sight. You know, he had 50, I think, from pure jump shots, like the finals against the season against the Heat. When LeBron and Wade didn't want to play us, scary asses.
His three-point shooting just became better and better. So that propelled him into an MVP-type player.
Everybody voted LeBron, and guess the only player that's not LeBron, I don't even matter his MVP vote, Melo. And it was a fucking Boston beat writer who voted Melo and actually as MVP that season over LeBron.
Why Carmelo Anthony over LeBron James or even Kevin Durant, who finished second in voting?
I just felt like Carmelo Anthony elevated his team this year to new heights.
They always took it to the Heat. If there was anything like that gave Knicks fans hope, it was they always took it to the Heat. And I have so many friends to this day who would be like, yo, we just got past Indiana. We were going to give the Heat a run for their fucking money. And it's true. I think it's true.
Anthony trying to ignite his Knicks, who are down a game in this series.
I mean, it was good times, man. It was good times. And I'll say to this day, if we beat Indiana, we would go into the championship series.
After taking a step forward in 3 consecutive seasons, New York brought in Phil Jackson, who blew up the fun-loving Knicks as we knew them.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, where they are introducing Phil Jackson, the new Knicks president.
I think when we made the move to get Phil, I think everybody thought it was a good decision. This is Phil Jackson, you know, one of the greatest basketball minds.
I thought that his pedigree would have other people wanting to unite with Melo immediately. He also promised Melo the same thing. We all know it didn't happen.
I had a lot of respect for him coming in. I thought this was really smart. I thought for the first time James Dolan had made the right move and we were really going to turn things around, and that Phil Jackson, though he was not coaching, would be able to take Melo's career to the next level.
His very first move as the executive was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack.
I do, however, think when he started to make moves, everyone was kind of questioning, you know, what was going on. And I think Knicks fans talked themselves into, myself included, that maybe starting fresh was the best way to go.
It is a done deal, a 6-player trade between the New York Knicks and Dallas Mavericks
that would send Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton to Dallas.
And they get a pair of starters from Dallas a year ago, and point guard Jose Calderon and Samuel Dalembert among the 4 players heading to the Big Apple.
It was a terrible, terrible decision. Of course, we know you had to get new pieces because even though New York was balling, they were the oldest team in the league. But when that happens, you got to bring in younger players that could fill that void and stay relevant. You know, Tyson Chandler just won Defensive Player of the Year. How do you trade your Defensive Player of the Year?
J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert are now Cleveland Cavaliers, and the New York Knicks picked up 3 no-names as well as a draft pick from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
We had an unbelievable team, unbelievable chemistry, and then they break everything down. More than anything, I was pissed because I couldn't play with my best friend anymore.
I think it was terrible because when you see what they did once they got to Cleveland, it was like we could have been doing that here.
Beautiful pass. The 2 former Knicks connect, Shumpert and J.R. Smith.
I felt that, you know, Phil's ego kind of grew into like a dementia stage with how he forgot that the game, you know, has evolved since his time being in the league, you know. Call it what you want to do, but 2010, 2014 was a big shift in the way the game was played.
The triangle's a great offense when you got Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. If you got the rest of these brothers, it's a square, and it don't work. It don't work. Let's get that straight.
Phil wanted to implement the outdated dinosaur offense, the triangle. And I know I've debated with many people, oh, you got to understand the Spurs and Greg Pop and Steve Burnham implement principles. I said, yeah, they implement the principles of the triangle, right? They also are the coaches on the floor in the practice teaching those principles. They say Melo wasn't a triangle player. Okay, so why would you then try to make him a triangle player instead of trying to create an offense that's surrounded by his talent?
Carmelo Anthony has signed with the New York Knicks. Carmelo's staying home, and that's what I'm talking about today.
New York is the greatest city on the planet, I think. But if you're not a New Yorker, if you don't wake up some days and be like, man, fuck this place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care who you are. You can be the mayor, you can be the governor, all the way down to the mailman. Everybody wakes up some days and say, man, fuck New York.
After some big off-season acquisitions, the Knicks had some real potential for the first time in years.
On paper, it looked like a good team.
They were fun to watch at first. They seemed to play together. I think, at least in my observation, it seemed like Derrick Rose and Melo got along.
As far as like coming in here and with the mindset of winning, like I just want to win, man. That's the only thing I want to do.
There's nothing better. You're not gonna get that feeling winning a basketball like winning a basketball game at Madison Square Garden.
People forget that around November, we were tied for number 2 in the East with Boston. The Hornacek had the Knicks balling, and Melo and D-Rose was building chemistry together. Like, here comes all that dementia of Phil with the triangle offense bullshit. And that right there took season in itself.
That year, I didn't have 100% belief in that season. And it was just based off the guys that we were going after. Like, Noah was good. I like him. But it's like, he's not going to give you what Chandler's giving you. And it was because his body was breaking down.
We started losing in the month of January. As you know, injuries started to derail us. And it was just a disaster.
I do wonder if we had a normal president running things and supporting and encouraging the team, would we have made the playoffs? I think we might have. We had a lot of talent.
Carmelo Anthony should ask to be traded right now. He should ask to get the hell out of New York City. He's been hoodwinked by Phil Jackson.
It just seemed like he was being loyal to a fault and wasn't really receiving a ton of credit for it, was still kind of deemed the bad guy.
He is a player that would be better off somewhere else and using his talent somewhere where he can win or chase that championship.
We have a player, right, who's a top 3 player in the world, arguably number 1 offensively in the world, who says, I want to come to New York, right? And you guys do him like that, the man gave you his best years.
Every single time I got a notification, like I had the ESPN notifications on, so every time I heard the sound, I would like jump up and just run to my phone. And I'm like, oh my God, Melo got traded.
What are you hearing on this 4-team deal with Carmelo Anthony and the Rockets?
Well, you know, like we reported, it's close to being done.
Every day was wake up, go on Google and see what was trending about Melo. See what was going on, what the trades was looking like.
It seemed inevitable that the Melo-Knicks marriage was soon to be over, and after months of uncertainty, the Knicks traded Melo to a contender in OKC. But before he left, he had one last thing to say to the New York fans. New York equipped me to make it any other place in the world. Because of you, I have no fears. You came into my life, and I was blessed. It's time to raise my hand and say goodbye. It's not the end, because like I've always said, NYC till the end.